Hello all, Darren Chang, and I'm doing something a little bit different in this set of videos. As you know, most of you are familiar with me reviewing crossover day packs like this Osprey here. And indeed, that is sort of the focus of most of my attention. But more recently, I've been intrigued with the idea of one bag traveling. The idea here is that you take one bag with you when you go traveling. Say you're traveling for 3 to 4 days, and rather than checking it or even worrying about trying to find space in the overhead compartments, you bring one bag, it has all your stuff in it, and you shove it in the area under the seat in front of you. And it changes your whole outlook on how you go about traveling. You don't have to worry about all those things related to luggage. Not to mention the fact that you pack lightly and you move more quickly and you can integrate better into wherever you are. Instead of using those ubiquitous rolling pieces of luggage with the handle that telescopes in, you don't really look like a tourist if you're cruising around with a backpack on your back. Now, of course, if it's one of those backpacks that looks like the type you'd use if you were hiking on the Appalachian Trail, then you still look like a tourist, or you look like a college-age student who's running from youth hostel to youth hostel. What I intend to do is to find one of these single bag travel packs like you see on either side of me here, and hopefully get into this new way of traveling. So I am going to be showing you folks 4 different travel bags. And let me go ahead and show you these guys. This is called the Air Travel Pack. This one behind here is called the Minol Carry-On 2.0. Over on my left here, I have the Tortuga Set Out. And then behind the Tortuga, I have the Mountain Smith Continental. Now, the intention of this video is just to give you a little bit of an introduction to my methodology, what I'm looking for. And in the subsequent videos, I'm going to actually show you around the bags, compare them, and then do individual reviews of each of these bags before I finally tell you which of the 4 bags I decided to settle on. After doing a whole lot of online searching, looking at different bag review sites, including one bag review site which is just awesome that you really, if you haven't done so already, you should look at it. And that is Chase Reeves. Chase Reeves is an absolute riot. It's totally entertaining to listen to his bag reviews. Go there, take a look at these things. But one of the things I have to tell you that was always difficult to find is looking at the bags right next to each other. All of the ones that I was interested in right next to each other, so I could compare them and see what they looked like in terms of their size relative to one another, rather than trying to imagine what they would look like next to each other. So that's what I intend to do with these reviews, is to show you them all at the same time together so you can make an even better informed decision about which pack you're going to go for. So there were 12 bags that I narrowed down to then these 4, because these 4 happen to meet 6 criteria that I think were essential for me. Now, it may vary and be different for you, so it's important you sit down and think about this question as well. But let me tell you the 6 criteria that I was most interested in making sure that my eventual bag would cover. It has to look like something that you could use if you were wearing a suit as well as wearing jeans and a t-shirt. So that means no garish colors, no bungee cords, nothing that that would have major branding all over it, and minimal panels, etc. It really had to be something that was simple and tasteful and professional looking. So take something like this Air, right? Compare that to your typical backpack that you see on the backcountry trails of wherever. And obviously this doesn't look anything like that. Number 2 is that it had to be a panel loading design. And what I mean by that is that when you open this up, it either opens up like a book or like a suitcase, so that you can see the contents of the bag entirely when you open up the panel. So that's the case with this Tortuga here. The other version of access is called top loading, which is really convenient for being able to stuff in a lot of stuff. It in a sense, it also is better at carrying the loads. You can put the heavy stuff on the bottom, light stuff on top. And it just altogether forms and fits for your body better when you do a top load design. It keeps things better weatherproofed as well. Those are great for when you're hiking on trails in the backcountry. But in terms of travel where you need quick access to things, panel loading is really the way to go. Top loading can be a real headache. All right, the third criterion that I wanted to make sure that I was able to cover was something that is probably the hardest thing to be able to achieve. Keep in mind that these packs are big, and yet if I wanted to do single bag traveling, I didn't want to have to carry a day pack like this one, along with a travel pack like this guy. What I really want to do is have a situation where I could take my travel pack, unload all my clothing and things that I didn't need, get rid of them, leave them at the hotel, wherever I was staying, and then be able to compress this bag to a small enough volume that I could get away with using it as my daily carry. That's huge because obviously, if I don't have to carry this around, I've just saved myself the headache of having to carry 2 bags versus 1. The fourth thing that I was hoping that my bag would be able to do was to have, let's see, I'll use the Mountain Smith in this case, was to have external water bottle pockets. And so you can see here in this case with the Mountain Smith, I have a water bottle pocket that in this case unzips to reveal itself, right? Having external water bottle pockets is really so key for me. I'm somebody who always thinks about making sure that I stay hydrated. And the last thing I want to do is have to dig through the main compartment or even just one of the sub pockets of my bag to get access to my water. I want to have my water right there, right on the surface of my bag. Okay, number 5. I wanted to make sure that my bag had a volume that was somewhere around 35 liters. And so in this case, this Manal Carry-On 2.0, I'm actually not exactly sure what the size of this is. I'm guessing that it's between 31 and 35 liters. So 35 liters is ideal because it will allow you to essentially pack for 4 days. And then after 4 days, if you don't have clothing, then maybe do laundry. And if it's bigger than that, if it's compressible, then you could get away with that. So for example, the Tortuga here, it's actually a 45 liter bag, but it's compressible enough that it actually can act maybe like a 35 liter bag. The final criterion, number 6, that I wanted to make sure that my bag would be able to have, which is an external compartment for my laptop, all right? Or maybe my iPad Pro, my 13-inch iPad Pro. That's essential for me because I'm constantly using my device, whether it's my iPad or my laptop, and being able to go to an external pocket to get access to it rather than having to go inside the bag and fish it out from, between my socks and my pants and underwear and everything, that was going to be huge. So let me tell you a little bit about what the upcoming videos will contain. So this is part 1 where I just give you sort of my methodology. And then in part 2, I'm going to compare the size of the bags side by side. And I'm going to look at them both filled and unfilled. In part 3, I'm going to compare the bags in terms of their ability to compress down and maybe get away with using them as my daily carry bag once I get to my destination. Part 4, I'm going to, actually it's 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to show you individual views of the bag. So I'm going to give you tours of each bag in turn. So I'll start with, I don't know, maybe the Mountain Smith, and I'll end with the Air. And those will be individual videos as well. And then finally, for part 8, I plan to tell you which one I decided to go with and why. So that probably is going to be a short video.